The arena was draped in black. A hush fell over the crowd. Everyone knew this night was different. We were there for celebration, for athletic competition, for entertainment. But tonight, we were here for something else entirely. Tonight, we were here to mourn. Jake. The Hammer Harmon's mother had passed. She was a constant presence at ringside, cheering on her son. She was a beloved figure in the wrestling world, known for her kindness and warmth. Her absence was felt by everyone. The lights dimmed. A single spotlight illuminated the entrance ramp. The silence was heavy, filled with anticipation and sorrow. The man of the hour was about to address the crowd. Jake walked slowly to the ring, his head down. He wore a black armband, his face etched with grief. He climbed the steel steps and stepped through the ropes. The crowd erupted in applause, a wave of love and support washing over him. He raised a hand, signaling for quiet. The applause subsided, replaced by a respectful silence. Jake looked out at the sea of faces, his own expression a mixture of sadness and gratitude.
I don't even know where to begin. My mom, she loved coming to these events. She loved all of you.
Tears welled up in his eyes. He quickly brushed them away, trying to regain his composure. He wasn't the only one struggling to keep it together. The entire arena felt like one giant, grieving family.
She was my biggest fan, my rock, and I know she'd want me to be out here tonight.
He looked around the arena, taking in the outpouring of support. Every single person was on their feet. Fans held up signs with messages of condolence. Fellow wrestlers, even his fiercest rivals, stood solemnly at ringside, heads bowed in respect. Many wrestlers wore black armbands in solidarity. Some had even incorporated her favorite color, emerald green, into their ring gear as a tribute. It was a powerful display of unity, a testament to the woman who brought them all together. The air crackled with emotion. It was a night of mourning, yes, but also a night of celebration. A celebration of a life well lived, a life that touched countless others. After a touching video tribute, the somber mood shifted slightly. It was time for the main event. Jake, despite his grief, was determined to compete. He knew it's what his mother would have wanted. He was teaming up with his longtime tag team partner, Rowdy Ricky Randall. They were facing their arch rivals, the cunning duo of the Viper Victor Stone and the Mauler Mike Morgan. The bell rang, and the crowd roared back to life. The wrestlers, despite the undercurrent of sadness, put on a show of athleticism and showmanship. They traded blows, grappled for control, and kept the crowd on the edge of their seats. The match was hard-fought, a whirlwind of punches, kicks, and high-flying maneuvers. The tension was palpable. Both teams were desperate for a win, but only one could emerge victorious. Section 5. A sudden silence. The match was reaching its climax. Jake and Ricky had gained the upper hand, working together seamlessly to isolate Victor Stone. The crowd was going wild, sensing a victory was imminent.
Suddenly, the music stopped. The lights flickered.
The crowd, confused by the abrupt interruption, fell silent. Jake and Ricky looked around, puzzled, as did Victor and Mike. An uneasy silence descended upon the arena. The wrestlers stood frozen in the ring, unsure of what was happening.
The crowd murmured, speculating amongst themselves. Something was wrong. This wasn't part of the show.
Section 6. The Queen Returns. Then a familiar theme song blasted through the speakers. The crowd gasped, a collective wave of shock and disbelief washing over the arena. Could it be, after all this time? A spotlight pierced through the darkness, illuminating the stage. There, standing tall and defiant, was Skylar the Queen Quinn. She hadn't been seen in the ring for over a year, since her controversial departure from the company. Her eyes, filled with a mixture of anger and determination, scanned the crowd. The arena erupted, a cacophony of cheers and boos. Her return was unexpected, to say the least, and it sent shockwaves through the entire wrestling world. Section 7. Face to Face. Skylar made her way down to the ring, her signature swagger back in full force. She grabbed a microphone from the announcer's table, a sly smirk spreading across her face.
Well, well, well. Look what we have here. A real tearjerker of a night, isn't it?
She stepped into the ring, her eyes fixed on Jake. He stared back, his face a mask of confusion and anger. The crowd watched with bated breath, unsure of what was going to happen next. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Old wounds, long thought healed, were ripped wide open. The past, it seemed, was far from over. Section 8. A United Front.
Don't you dare disrespect my mother's memory.
Skylar laughed, a cold, humorless sound.
Oh, Jake, you always were so predictable. Still clinging to that goody two-shoes image, I see.
The crowd buzzed with anticipation. This was shaping up to be a confrontation for the ages. Two of the biggest names in wrestling, once close allies, now bitter rivals, were about to collide. But tonight, something felt different. Despite the animosity, despite the history between them, there was a sense of unity in the air. Perhaps it was the shared grief, the common enemy that had brought them all together. Section 9. The Calm Before the Storm. Skylar's return sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. Alliances were questioned. Loyalties were tested. The balance of power had shifted, and no one knew what the future held. One thing was certain: the wrestling world would never be the same. Skylar's return had ignited a firestorm, and it was only a matter of time before everything went up in flames. The night ended with more questions than answers, but one thing was clear: a storm was brewing. And when it finally broke, the entire wrestling world would tremble.